Sorry about the lack of uploads for the last couple of days. I've been working in addition to attending EUIC this weekend. I was not playing, but I was spectating with my friends and going to the Pokemon Center and all that good stuff. But today's video, I'm going to be taking a more scripted approach since I'd like to fully get across the point of the discussion I'm opening up today, which is having no hesitation in your team building. Competitive Pokemon is trial and error. This is a topic that has been swirling around in my head for at least a few months now that I've wanted to talk about, but I never really got around to until now. I was focusing on the Fatemons content and other things, but I felt like it was finally time to approach this in the best possible way. Now, before we get into the nitty gritty of what I want to say, make sure to subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. And I want to thank you guys for all of the support that you've been giving me for the last couple of months. But yeah, let's get into it. So I've gone in depth in previous discussion videos about the two sides of competitive Pokemon, battling and team building, and I've stated team building is always going to be the harder one of the two, because you can reach a pretty decent level at battling and secure wins against respectable players, while the team building is always the complex bit because you can never really see the peak of where you want to get in terms of team building skill. Do not think that there cannot be good team builders. You see Pokemon Blunder say users like Stormzone and RTSK are always providing the heat, and it's true. You can get to a level of solid team building skill, but it's definitely harder for most players to have their team building skill equal to the battling skill. This leads on to the main topic of team building hesitation. I don't know if this is as massive of an issue for others as it was for me, but it's taken me quite a long time playing this game to reduce my hesitation in team building. You want your teams to be firstly consistent and possibly experimental secondly, and sometimes they just go hand in hand. You have to experiment to reach consistency, but I've always been scared to go out of the box for a long time. Obviously, you guys know I enjoy gimmicky shit like Aura's Trick Room with Carbink, and not to say that's hella consistent, but it's heavily experimental as Trick Room is in singles formats. But there have always been formats I've played over the years consistently where I've been in situations where I'm in the builder and I have these ideas, but I never really attempted to make them work properly or given the effort to really pull through with said ideas. Whether that led to me building safer teams or having worse team quality overall, sometimes this was the case and sometimes it wasn't, but there was no confidence in what I was building. I felt like I was losing more than I was winning, and it led to more frustration at the game. At the end of the day, I believe it was due to my lack of skill and I simply was angry at my inadequacy. So my message to those who feel like they want to improve at all aspects of competitive Pokemon but they aren't seeing results: have zero hesitation, experiment. Go through failure over and over and over again until you hit your stride. Because that's what I went through in order to eventually reach results. It requires patience and a drive in order to reach high satisfaction with your play. I will say that reducing my hesitation in the builder has been helpful for me as I expand the formats that I'm playing more frequently. And this is no more apparent than my venture into the old gens in 2025, particularly Auras. Currently, Aura Slam is going on right now, and Slam is basically tournaments for every core metagame other than OU. Since I always like using examples when explaining a lot of my points, let's look into Aura UU for my example in this video. Now, Aura UU Open Round 1 was this week, and I was up against Fiend, who's the RU leader and most recent Smogon Super Moderator. Now, I'm not going to act like Fiend is some god at Gen 6 UU, but they're a real, well-respected user and player within RU, obviously. And even in other formats like Monotype, Fiend has always gotten the jump on me numerous times. Honestly, I was hoping I got a random so I could easily get past round 1. So yeah, I was stressing a little bit. This was also a tier I hadn't touched since Gen 6 basically ended in 2016. And it's a tier I even hardly played when Gen 6 was still the current generation. So I was basically playing a new format for the first time. One thing that I had going into prepping for the set was my absolute confidence in my play, of course. But was I confident in my builds for a tier I hardly played? Of course not. This was going to be the great divider of whether I would actually defeat my opponent or lose terribly. So I simply just had to go into the builder, look at some inspiration, and I do think they need to update the Aura UU resources. I'm not going to lie, there's hardly anything to really go off, and just build a team that looks good on the surface. I had one test game where I got hacked and lost, but I felt the team was good enough if I played properly, which I assumed I always do, and I went into game 1. Not gonna lie guys, I just noticed my whole aspect ratio and everything for my OBS setup was just wonky through that time I was discussing shit. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're looking at an analysis for Fiend, going off of the example in this video. This is Aura UU, so you have some of these pretty cool mons like Swampert and Polion. Gen 6 UU did have a lot of cool mons, and obviously I started playing competitive in Gen 6. And a lot of the mons that I ended up playing for the first time when I was playing competitive Pokemon were Pokemon that were in Oras UU at the time. Things like Swampert, Mienshao, Cloyster, like some of my favorite Pokemon that I've used in competitive, even Nidoking. So yeah, Oras UU has a lot of Pokemon that I was used to using when I first started playing the game in 2014. But regardless, yeah, we have just a simple team here, nothing too crazy. Like, I didn't bring some like crazy breakers, I just brought something I felt could be consistent. Like, I had Crobat for Defog and Polion. Well, no, the Crobat actually wasn't Defog, but you know, it was like Pivot Crobat with Toxic Brave Bird Roost, U-Turn. We got Empo with Rocks and Defog, Swampert. This was Mega Swampert, actually. I completely forgot. Yeah, this is Rain setting Mega Swampert. Scarf Mienshao with Reckless, Roserade with Spikes, and P2 for just being a bulky ass dude, because the Mega Arrow switch-ins, yeah, you need Porygon 2 for that shit. But either way, Fiend brought some interesting team here with Nidoqueen, Mega Absol. And to be fair, even though Mega Absol's in UU, I'm just like, this guy's still ass. I'm not gonna lie. I played this game with the Mega Absol, I was like, this guy is not him. Unfortunately, Mega Absol's not that guy. But either way, let's get into the game. Go through them. And again, I haven't played Gen 6 UU since 2016. It's literally been almost 10 years. And I was told the tier's a lot different from back then. So yeah, Mega Absol comes in. I obviously did not get the lead right. They protected, which is fair enough on their case. But yeah, they knock on my Eviolite. P2 is still bulky even with an Eviolite. And I 2-hit KO Absol with Tri-Attack. This one has no bulk and still just doesn't do any damage. But regardless, that's not the point. I recovered. But to be fair, I knew SD is probably coming out. So I T-Wave the Aloe here, you know, try and get some Para Hacks. It's Gen 6. You have perfectly accurate, what do you call it? T-Waves with 75% speed reduction. So my Empo takes that attack. Obviously, it was not going to die really because Nidoqueen's always going to be bulky. But yeah, I just guarantee my rocks because Mega Absol was not coming in on the Empo. But yeah, I go into my Mega Swampert and, you know, they're going to have to be a bit scared now because obviously I Mega... And, you know, I Earthquake Aloe. This is Adamant Swampert, so you're actually able to get the 3-hit KO with Earthquake. You know, that 35 to 41 is the disgusting roll, I'll be honest. But, yeah, I get the Toxic off, and I'm just like, well, they're not going to stay in. Or they could just try and protect, but I decided to Rain Dance anyway, double my speed and Empo. They don't have any switch-ins to EQ. Like, you wouldn't recklessly go Crobat, which I actually anticipated them to go for, because I am just Himothy sometimes. But yeah, Crobat's dead, and they no longer have any ground immunities. So Swampert can just spam either water or just ground moves. And obviously, Aloe comes in, I'm just like, I'm still clicking E. Well, I actually swapped out there, because I was anticipating Virizion to come in, which, again, Himothy, I'm on it this game. I'm on it this game. I'm telling you guys, I'm on it this game. Even me in the future doesn't even know what I'm gonna do because, like, obviously I'm gonna have to play doubling and, you know, do some mid-ground plays and shit. But yeah, this is just how it is, isn't it? So I go for Sleep Powder. Luckily I don't miss. And you know, typically I was looking at Roserade's Gen 6 analysis for UU and it had Leaf Storm, but I was like, I'm not running Synthesis, so I need some way of other recovery other than Black Sludge, which my Roserade is running, obviously. But yeah, they go for EQ, they get the 2-hit KO, which, you know, is obvious because Roserade has no physical bulk. But yeah, again, I just Giga Drain because I get the kill. I recover quite a good amount of my HP back. And Roserade actually does annoy this team quite well when, you know, Nidoqueen and Crobat are dead. So yeah, I go P2. And to be fair, I could have actually just stayed in. Knockoff. Was Knockoff killing me? Yeah, Knockoff was definitely killing me. I'm not staying in. But yeah, P2 survives the +2 Sucker Punch. And, you know, yeah, Tri-Attack just kills it. So yeah, Mega Absol failing to do anything yet again. But as you can see, I'm pretty much have this game in the bag. Like, I have 5 Mons, and, like, you know, pretty much Rosary can just win the game later. But I have my Scarf Mienshao, which also just wall breaks quite effectively because Reckless High Jump Kick is kind of ridiculous damage. Like, you can 2-hit KO Aloe quite easily. And before I even wanted to run freaking Regenerator, which again, Regenerator Mienshao is not a bad Pokemon, but Reckless High Jump Kick, I like to see the damage. But either way, they go Empo, and obviously Empo's not going to take Giga Drain. It takes it quite well, to be fair, but obviously the only sleep immune Pokemon is also one that's weak to poison, so it's not even like they're going to go hard Virizion anyway. That, to be fair, I don't even think they run Z Headbutt. You run Stone Edge because that's obviously stronger onto Crobat, of course. So yeah, at this point, I'm just like, I'm just gonna get on my hazards. Like, there's no reason for me to really fear Empo. It doesn't really have anything to hit me with. Like, they could obviously hit me with like Knockoff still did a 3-hit kill, which is kind of disgusting, but, you know, that's besides the point. But yeah, Empo, no Roost this gen. Obviously, Empo misses Roost for most of his competitive career and would have actually been a shiest Pokemon in, you know, these gens, like Gen 6 and Gen 5, if it actually did have Roost. But, you know, that's neither here or there. So yeah, I'm able to just 1v1 the Empoleon, and this game is literally just me, like, waiting for Empo to do that. They roll me out, which gets in Swampert, which is probably the best one I could have asked for, because to be fair, Virizion is not wanting to take an Earthquake with a Rock and Spike up, but yeah, they decide to just sat down. Swampert, again, I don't need Swampert anymore. I realistically just need Roserade and Mienshao to really get the job done, but obviously Mienshao has to land, you know, 2 high jump kicks, obviously, which, you know, 81% chance, you know, you have to take that into account, and then, yeah, Rekka's high jump kick is obviously killing Virizion, and then Aloe comes in at, like, you know, 12% and it just dies, and they really can't do anything about that. But obviously I'm playing it safe, but it doesn't really matter at this point because Giga Drain is just gonna kill Aloe. So yeah, that was a good game from me. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I have to say, really. I got 1-0 in the set so far. I was feeling comfortable. I was feeling confident in the next bring, which the next bring was freaking Carbink Trick Room UU edition. So yeah, I pretty much just brought the same team that I brought in OU, other than Conkeldurr. Machamp over Conkeldurr, because Conkeldurr is banned from UU. Perfectly understandable why Conkeldurr is banned from Gen 6 UU. But yeah, I'm really running through all of the Oras tiers with Carbink Trick Room. I wanted to really cover this set like in its own video, but I was just like, I'm going to be talking about team building hesitation and, like, you know, bringing in examples of Gen 6 UU, as like I might as well just add the replay into this, and we won't really go over the game. I mean, I can just kind of skim through the game here. Like, I ended up winning because I was actually just outplaying, but as you can see, Carbink does its thing, Mega Camera does its thing, and then Crawdon just gets 4 kills. The game lasted 17 turns, wasn't that serious. But yeah, the point of me showing the Aura UU set was basically to show you guys where zero hesitation got me in the builder, following through with all of my ideas, being confident, and most of all, believing in yourself. I might get knocked out in round 2, depends on who I really face, or I, you know, start bringing other teams that may or may not work. But, you know, I gave a new format a try, and, you know, I put in the effort to actually team build and try and understand, you know, the things about Oras UU, for example. Like, obviously Trick Room is Trick Room, but game 1 team, I really just thought to myself, what were the top mons? What do I feel like using? I like mons like Mienshao. I realized that Crobat's one of the top Pokemon because it defogs and has a high speed to Empo, walling some of the special attackers in the tier. You know, adding a Porygon 2 to my team, because looking at the 5 members, Mega Arrow outspeeds Crobat, gets Stone Edge, Empoleon gets outsped, Earthquaked. This is dying to a flying move. This is also that can't switch in realistically, but, you know, I have the speed control to make sure that I have things faster than a Mega Aerodactyl, obviously. And that's all I really have to say, obviously, here. I hope you guys can take something away from this video, that being able to build teams that can secure you wins, that you can have confidence in, will lead to greater frequency of results. Even if your teams aren't successful at first, you can always keep trying to build teams that will be successful, and the only way that you can reach that is to not hesitate and try any idea that pops into your head. Thanks everyone for watching this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.